we need a chat. And thankfully, I've bought a new mic, so hopefully the sound quality of these videos should get better. I didn't realise how bad it was. I know it's quite echoey in this garage. Yeah, hopefully these new mics will make these chats a little bit easier, a little bit easier to listen to, and hopefully easier to edit. So what do I want to chat about? I need to chat about two things in particular, both related to the same problem. That problem is the rear subframe that I picked to do this conversion, which is off a 350Z, is simply too big, I think. I think it is just too massive. Not heavy, just in size, it's too big. That's a good thing, obviously, for a bit of strength, and I'm fairly confident the 350Zs are pretty good for handling a decent amount of power. But for this car, even though they're roughly about the same size, it's just too big, I think. Having said that, I am too far down the rabbit hole to change anything now, so I'm not getting rid of the 350Z rear axle. I've modified the back end too much to not use that 350Z rear axle or rear subframe assembly. If I was to do it again, I would pick something different, something that bolts straight on. There is an option out there that doesn't cost the world, but at the time was still a little bit too expensive. I paid £25 for that rear subframe, so anything more than that was too expensive. But like I said, if I was doing it again and I didn't have a budget, I would definitely do it differently. Something that bolts straight on, like I said. I'll let you guess in the comments what that bolt-on option is, but it's not important for now. What's important is what I'm going to do about this rear axle. So initially, it fits, and it fits fine. It works. I've driven the car. The car it does skids. Oh, what more can you want from it? The 350Z has a limited slip diff. It's fine. However, fitment, on the Focus, there is a cross support underneath the boot floor / rear seat floor, which ties the two chassis rails in together. And when I was putting the subframe in to start, that was my sort of datum point where I wouldn't put that was as far forward as I could put this subframe. So I tried to get it as close as I could, and I think I've put a video up before where I've shown you the gap, and it's less than 5mm. It's rather close. So I was quite proud of that, and you know, as far as I was concerned, the axle fits. However, I put this picture up on a focused Facebook group, and that's when all the sleepless nights started, and I decided I had to do something about it. Now, a small thing to know about me is I'm an overthinker. I will be given a problem. I will think about a solution. I will think about solutions to that solution, and I will overthink things to the death. And I don't need to tell anybody that this is detrimental to my sleeping pattern. It's not uncommon for me to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning looking for solutions to problems that I've probably created myself. So the problem is, for those of you looking at this picture and not being able to point it out, the rear axle, or the wheel in the arch, is too far back. It's too close to the rear sort of tub of the arch, and at the time I was like, meh, see how it goes. Like I said, I've driven it since, and it all works, but the more I look at it, the worse it gets. It's one of those things, once you've seen it, you can't unsee it, and I'm permanently looking at it, so I needed to fix it. So to fix it, I need to move the axle forward a bit, but as I've previously mentioned, the cross member on the car stops me from doing that. So the solution to that is actually cutting a bit out of that cross member and just making it fit. So that's what I'm in the process of doing now, and it's half of the reason why I went quiet over Christmas. I didn't want to be filming all of this because it is literally pull the axle in and out a million times just to check fitment. Taking measurements is properly boring to watch. And we've already done a few episodes where I put the rear axle in. So I didn't want to film it, and I've basically been doing this over Christmas. So while I've been doing it over Christmas, obviously the videos have slowed down. And I'm at the point now where I haven't actually got a backlog of videos to upload. This is Saturday, 2 days before this goes up on YouTube. So I'm going to ask you to bear with me. I'm doing that when I can. It is freezing out here. I can't describe how cold it is out this garage, and dealing with all this, all these metal bits, your hands just freeze over. Is what it is. I'm just coming out here as and when I can to do it. I've had problems with a welder. It's basically been a nightmare the last couple of weeks, but I am pleased to say that I fixed it. I've got one corner of the subframe fitted. I know where all the other 3 corners go. I just haven't finished doing those 3 corners. So once I finish doing those 3 corners, I can move on, I think, because I really am. I really would like something else to do other than metalwork. I want to get into the electrics and all the fun bits. So that bit's sorted. And sorting that bit out meant I could deal with another problem that I couldn't remember if I'd fixed or not. Either way, now I know it's perfect. And that was driveline angle. So, like I said, I've driven the car. It's done a few skids, and everything seems fine. There's no outrageous vibrations, but I've not got the car up to speed. I've not got, the car up to 70 mile an hour or 100 mile an hour or whatever to feel if that drive shaft is gonna shake itself to death. Caveat: I know it needs balancing, but I will get that done when I know it's right. So taking this rear subframe off allowed me to double and triple check the driveline angles that I've got. So let's go downstairs and I'll show you what I mean by that with the driveline axle. I have fixed it, and we'll go over the changes to the rear axle mounting or the rear subframe mounting. There's the centre bearing. The rear drive tail shaft is in. So this is the angle at which the engine sits and the front prop shaft actually drives at. And if we put this phone up on there and zero it, that angle is now stored on the phone as 0. Ignore what it is actually. It's like 7 degrees, 6 degrees, 7 degrees, because the car is actually on an angle. It's not on the floor. But if we zero the prop shaft at the front and then go to the back, down here, and put, I just reset it. No, I didn't. There we go. So the drive shaft flange is at 0 degrees as well. That means the output of the engine is pointing 0 degrees down on this, and this is actually pointing 0 degrees up. So as long as this prop shaft, which is currently too long, as long as this prop shaft has the joints on the end welded on at the right phase angle, which should be 90 degrees off from each other or directly in line, I think. Can't remember, I'll have to look it up. Either way, this one is, but we've got to shorten it anyway, so don't worry about that. So as long as those joints are in phase, then I shall have no problems with any oscillating of this drive shaft at higher speeds. So with that complete, hopefully I should be able to sleep a little bit better at night. Now I'm going to get out because there's not a lot of room in here. And with the axle out, this is something else that I've done. So this used to stick out further. Basically, I've turned it around, so it's concave now rather than whatever the other one is. But yeah, I've just finished that off now. So that is, I say finish it off. I've still got a hole there that I got to fill. That's not a problem. Yeah, so this allows the axle to move forward a little bit and boxes everything back in. One good thing about doing all of this is inside there, I wonder if I can show you. Oh. So this, let me get a light. So this new panel here is actually welded inside the car, but it goes under this seam, which is inside here. And inside here is still technically outside. So it was actually rusting in there. So it's a good thing I've actually cut this open for the new mounting, because I can get in there, clean it up and put some protection on it. It's probably the same the other side, because I had to do the other side as well. But essentially this is the new mount right there. It's a bit neater, and it's still going to have studs, but the front I'm going to move to bolts because it sticks out too much. But I'll get more into the detail about that when I fit the axle again and yeah, show you the results. So you can kind of see why I'm a little bit disheartened. This is work that I've had to redo, fixing my own mistakes, but at least I've learned from it this time. I didn't go too far down the rabbit hole with the, I didn't put any under sealing on here before I had to change it. So it's better to do it now than to do it later. I think that's all the news I've got with the rear axle. Something I will do next is actually protect inside these cavities, I suppose. Is that the word I want to use? Cavities? I think it is the word I want to use. So we'll cover that next. Right, I know this hasn't been the greatest episode, and it's pretty boring, but I did want to cover one more thing while I'm doing a lot of metalwork again. And we're up the front because I wanted to show you something here. Well, I want to explain something because I can't show it to you. Basically, so you recall I cut along here and welded this new sill onto the car. And obviously I can weld the outside and clean it back and prime it, but behind it is still dirty. And even though I haven't done it all up yet, so this is still kind of loose down to here, I've only managed to get a little bit of paint behind it, and I don't want it to rust again along this weld line that I've got. So I was actually a bit stumped as to what to do, because even though I could pull this back and get a paint can in there, or at least a nozzle in there, I couldn't get down here because this is almost welded together because it's one solid piece. And then I was watching Alex Cross, who is building a Group B R32 Nissan Skyline. I think it's R32. I don't know my Nissans that well. Either way, go and watch him, by the way. He's quite funny, and it's quite entertaining watching him build that car. But anyway, he brought up this Buzzweld cavity paint. So I thought I'd give it a go, because it says the long-term alternative to cavity waxes. I say that, it says long-term alternative cavity waxes. It's Mr. 2, so it's probably Chinese or something. Apparently it's the only product in the world that stabilizes corrosion within a cavity. Cavity paint is an extreme creep, low viscosity rust stabilizing paint used to expel moisture and encapsulate corrosion within a cavity. A superb base coating for WRAR or ZERP prep. Cavity paint is the basis of halting corrosion in a cavity long term. So the main thing about this is on top of the on the cap there is there's a special nozzle that doesn't atomize, and then a pipe with an atomizer on the end of it. So the idea is you put that atomizer up into the cavity, spray this, and it probably fills all this up with paint and then atomizes at the end. So you essentially get, what's that, about 400-500 mil of thing up inside the cavity. So I can pull this back a little bit, and feed it up there, and hopefully get it down here somewhere. Even if I get a screwdriver just to prise this open, just so I can get in behind this bit. And while I've got 3 cans, I might as well, oh look, WAR is wheel arch refinement, zero prep cavity wax, cavity lance, self-regenerating cavity wax. Surface must be clean, dry, and free of contamination where possible. Yeah, because I can get in there and clean it, can I? That's clever. So, yeah, I'm going to give this a go now. At least in the front sphere. If not, I'm going to go around the whole car if I can. Let's shake it first. Right, and in an attempt to make my life a little bit easier, I'm actually going to tape the end of this to a piece of welding rod, so I can guide it a little bit. Hopefully, this will help. Make a right mess of this. Okay, that'll do. So now, oh, by the way, I'll put a link to Alex's videos in the description, I think, or up here. Go show another car guy some support. His videos are quite entertaining, I'll give him that. So, let's prise this off a bit. Let's test this first. Oh, look at that. Crap. Well, at least we know the cavity spray works. Right, let's get this up in here. I have no idea if this is over far enough. Okay, and oh, well, it's dripping out. Hopefully that means we've got some sort of coverage. I have no idea. This is infuriating. Oh. This is wild. Absolutely wild. And I have no idea if it's covering up the top or anything. We could always try going in through this hole as well. Just in case you can't see, there is a hole here. Oh, there we go. Oh, come and see this. So I put it in that hole there, and if I squirt, you can see it coming out here. So at least I know it's getting to the back of this, and my little micro holes are actually showing that I'm getting behind it. Let's try going this way. This ends up being rubbish. I don't know what I'm going to do. Anyway, let's go do the other cavities. Get some light under here. Not very good light, but either way. So I've got 3 to do. It's the one you're being mounted on, this one, and this one. So let's just poke it in, see how it goes. Never done me wrong before. from in there. Oh, this thing is brutal. God, I tell you what, it goes through some paint. Let me get another tin. That paint gets everywhere. It's cool though, I like it. Just stick it in every hole and squirt. Absolutely drenched with paint. Can you imagine what the runs are like in there? And on that note, I think I'm going to end it. I got paint all over my face. I got paint all over my clothes. I got paint all over underneath the side of the car. And I need another coat. So I'm going to order more of that Buzzwell stuff. And yeah, I'll do it all over again. Make sure it's all got a good coating. That atomizer pipe seems to work really well, so I can thoroughly recommend it for making a mess. So yeah, I'm gonna call it for today. I've made enough mess. Sorry there wasn't a lot of content and it was a lot of me talking, but sometimes these episodes are like that. Unfortunately, that rear axle had to be moved because it really was getting on my nerves. The good news is, if you noticed in that last piece of video, most of it's done now. So I've got to refit the fuel tank. I'm probably going to make some straps for that because I was going to do it before, then I messed it up, and now that I've got the whole thing off again, I might as well try again. So that's probably coming up soon. I'm going to order some more of that Buzzwell and put a second coat on this. The rear axle is nearly done. I'm happy with it. It all looks okay when it's on its four wheels, as in the wheels aren't too far back. So all in all, even though it's taken me 6 weeks, I think that's an improvement. Anyway, until next time, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, watch the Jaff's shorts that I've started throwing out to please the YouTube gods. Yeah, go and follow me on all these other social media platforms, and until next time, ciao. Look at that. Crap.